I never imagined Betrayal would wear such a smug, unapologetic expression. Claire stood by the bedroom door, arms folded, hip cocked, her lips curling into an infuriating smirk. "I'm going on a trip with another man," she announced, her voice laced with amusement. "And I don't care what you think." Her words struck like a hammer against my chest, knocking the breath from my lungs. I struggled to process them, my mind rejecting the cruelty wrapped so casually in her confession. "What?" My voice came out hoarse, disbelief thick in my throat. Claire tilted her head, feigning innocence. "You heard me." I took a step forward, heart pounding. "Tell me you're joking," she scoffed. "Why would I joke about something like this?" A bitter laugh escaped me. "Because you're my wife." Her green eyes, once filled with warmth, now glowed with an icy detachment. "That title stopped meaning anything a long time ago, Daniel." Heat rushed to my face. "Who is he?" Claire's smirk widened. "Marcus." The name sent a jolt through my spine. Marcus Holloway, my closest friend, the man who toasted at our wedding, swearing to always have my back. I shook my head, rejection bubbling up like bile. "No. You're lying." "Why would I?" She shrugged, walking toward the dresser, casually pulling out lingerie she hadn't worn for me in years. "He makes me feel alive." Rage twisted inside me, tightening around my ribs like a vice. "And I don't." Claire turned, lazily draping a lacy black bra over her shoulder. "You're predictable. Safe. Boring." I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. "I gave you everything." She rolled her eyes. "You gave me comfort. I want passion." A storm brewed inside me, emotions colliding in a violent whirlwind. "So, you planned this?" "Of course." She laughed, tucking silky fabric into her suitcase. "We're leaving tonight." A muscle in my jaw twitched. "And you thought I'd just accept this?" Claire met my gaze, unbothered. "I don't care what you do. Stay. Leave. Cry. Move on. It's not my problem." Her callousness sent a sharp pang through my chest. The woman I married, the one I built a life with, was gone. Replaced by this cold, unrecognizable stranger. "You're heartless," I whispered. She sighed dramatically. "Daniel, don't make this a scene. You always said you wanted me to be happy." Something inside me cracked. "Not at the expense of our marriage." Claire zipped her suitcase, lifting it effortlessly. "Well, too bad. Because I'm finally choosing me." I stepped in front of the door, blocking her exit. "You're not leaving." She raised an eyebrow. "And what exactly are you going to do about it?" Anger burned beneath my skin, but I forced my voice to stay even. "You don't just walk out on 10 years like they meant nothing." She exhaled impatiently. "That's where we differ. You saw a marriage. I saw a comfortable cage." A bitter taste coated my tongue. "Then why stay this long?" Claire hesitated, just for a second, before recovering. "Because I hoped you'd change." I let out a humorless chuckle. "Change into what?" "Someone like Marcus." She tilted her head. "Someone exciting." My stomach twisted. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was emotional, deliberate. She had checked out of our marriage long before she ever packed this bag. A sharp knock at the door made my blood run cold. Claire's lips curled knowingly. "That must be him." I stared at her, stunned. "You told him to come here?" She winked. "Well, I wasn't about to drag my suitcase across town." The audacity of it sent fresh waves of fury through me. Claire didn't just cheat, she flaunted it. Dangled it in front of me like a cruel joke. The knock came again, louder this time. My hands trembled at my sides, fists itching to swing. Claire leaned in, lowering her voice to a whisper. "Be a good husband, Daniel. Let me go." I swallowed hard, every muscle in my body screaming against it. But I stepped aside. Claire beamed, patting my cheek like I was some obedient pet. Then, without another word, she pulled open the door. Marcus stood there, casual as ever, sunglasses perched atop his head, duffel bag slung over one shoulder. His brown eyes met mine, and for a split second, guilt flashed across his face. But just as quickly, it was gone. "Hey man," he said, as if we were still friends. I said nothing. Claire squeezed his arm. "Let's go." Marcus hesitated. "Dan, listen, I slammed the door before he could finish. Silence swallowed the house. Claire was gone. Marcus too. I stood there, fist still clenched, breath shallow. The betrayal scorched my insides, leaving nothing but ashes where love once lived. And yet, something else stirred beneath the devastation. A dark, unfamiliar feeling. A need for revenge. I stood frozen, fists still clenched, staring at the door they had just walked through. The echo of Claire's smug voice lingered in my ears like poison, her words slicing deeper than I thought possible. She had left, just like that. No hesitation, no second thoughts. My wife, the woman I built a life with, had walked out of my home with another man. My so-called best friend. The weight of it pressed against my chest, suffocating. I let out a slow, shaky breath and turned away. The house suddenly felt too big, too empty. Every framed photo, every piece of furniture, everything screamed of the life I had lost in mere moments. I yanked off my wedding ring and hurled it against the wall. It clattered to the floor, the metallic sound echoing through the room. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to see her name. But my anger demanded I check. Maybe it was an apology. Maybe it was some pathetic attempt at justification. I grabbed the phone and my stomach turned. A message from an unknown number. "Hope you're holding up, man. For what it's worth, she was never worth you." I frowned. Who the hell was this? Before I could respond, another text followed. "If you want to hit back, I can help." My grip tightened around the phone. Curiosity won over rage. "Who is this?" I typed. The reply came instantly. "Someone who's been watching." A chill ran through me, but my anger was stronger. "Watching what?" The three dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. "Claire. Marcus. They're not as clever as they think. And I know things you'd want to hear." I should have ignored it. I should have turned off my phone, drowned my sorrows in whiskey, and let the world fade away. But I didn't. "Meet me. If you're ready to make them pay." My pulse quickened. My better judgment screamed to walk away. But my rage? My rage wanted blood. I stared at the address that popped up on my screen. It wasn't far. Some bar downtown. Without thinking, I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. The bar was dimly lit, the kind of place where secrets thrive. The scent of old leather, cheap whiskey, and cigarette smoke clung to the air. I spotted him immediately. A man, maybe mid-30s, dressed in a sleek black suit, sipping his drink like he had all the time in the world. He looked up, locking eyes with me, a knowing smirk playing on his lips. I approached cautiously. "You texted me?" He nodded to the seat across from him. "Sit." I didn't move. "Who are you?" "Name's Adrian." He swirled his drink. "Let's just say I have a vested interest in people like Claire and Marcus getting what they deserve." I narrowed my eyes. "Why do you care?" His smirk deepened. "Because I know exactly what they did to you. And trust me, they won't stop there." I clenched my jaw. "What are you talking about?" Adrian slid his phone across the table. I hesitated before picking it up. My heart stopped. Photos. Videos. Messages. Claire and Marcus, together, long before tonight. Meeting in hotel rooms. Laughing at my expense. My stomach twisted as I scrolled. It wasn't just recent. This had been going on for years. Adrian leaned forward, his voice low. "She was never faithful, Daniel. She played you." They both did. I felt sick. "Why do you have these?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Adrian took a slow sip of his drink. "Because Marcus isn't just a backstabbing friend. He's a thief." I blinked. "What?" Adrian smirked. "You don't think he's just after your wife, do you? He's after your money, your business connections, your entire life." I shook my head. "No. Claire would never. Claire doesn't love you." His voice was cold. She loves what you provide. I exhaled sharply, running a hand through my hair. Adrian leaned in. You want revenge? A dark, burning part of me whispered yes. I didn't speak, but Adrian saw the answer in my eyes. He smiled. Good. Let's ruin them. I stared at Adrian, my pulse hammering in my ears. His smirk, calm and confident, sent a chill down my spine. He had all the proof, all the leverage, and now he was offering me a chance to strike back. Revenge. I never thought I'd be the kind of man to sink into that darkness. But Claire and Marcus had destroyed me without a second thought. They had laughed behind my back, used me, humiliated me. They deserved whatever was coming. I leaned forward. Tell me what you have in mind. Adrian's smirk widened. Good choice. He pulled out a sleek black tablet and tapped the screen. A set of financial documents appeared, numbers and transactions filling the display. Marcus isn't just screwing your wife, he's screwing you over financially. Adrian slid the tablet to me. See these transfers? Claire has been funneling money out of your joint account into an offshore fund. And guess who's managing it? I scanned the data, bile rising in my throat. Marcus. Adrian nodded. They've been planning this for months. Claire's trip with him? Not just a romantic getaway. They're meeting with investors, selling themselves as a power couple, using your money to start fresh. My grip on the tablet tightened. That bitch. Adrian chuckled. I take it you're ready to play? I met his gaze. I want them ruined. He took out his phone, typing something quickly. Then here's what we do. The plan was simple, ruthless, precise. First, I contacted my lawyer. I had no intention of fighting Claire for love, but for everything else? She wasn't getting a damn cent. I froze our joint accounts, flagged the offshore transfers, and gathered every piece of financial evidence Adrian had. My lawyer assured me that with proof of fraud, I could strip her of any divorce settlements. Claire would leave with nothing. Next, we turned the heat on Marcus. Adrian had connections, people in high places who didn't take kindly to financial fraud. Marcus had been embezzling from more than just me. He had taken money from some very dangerous people. Adrian made sure those people found out. By the time Claire and Marcus landed at their luxury resort, the walls had already started closing in. I sat at my desk, watching the security feed Adrian had hacked into from their hotel suite. Claire lounged on the bed, wrapped in a silk robe, sipping champagne while Marcus paced, his phone glued to his ear. They froze our accounts, Marcus hissed. All of them. Claire frowned. What? How? I don't know, he snapped. Daniel must have found out. Claire rolled her eyes. So what? We'll figure it out. Marcus turned on her, frustration boiling over. We have nothing, Claire. No money, no investors. We're screwed. For the first time, Claire looked nervous. You said this was foolproof. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. We need to go back. Fix this. Claire shook her head. I'm not crawling back to him. Marcus grabbed her wrist. Then you'll be broke, Claire. You really think I can support us without that money? She yanked her hand away. So this is why you wanted me to leave him? For his money. Marcus laughed coldly. Oh, grow up. You didn't love him either. Claire's face twisted in fury. You son of a... A sharp knock at the door interrupted them. Through the security feed, I saw Marcus hesitate. Then he walked over, pulling it open. 2 men in dark suits pushed inside. Marcus paled. What the hell? One of them grabbed him by the collar. We need to talk. Claire's eyes widened. Who are you? The second man smirked. Friends of a man your boyfriend stole from. I leaned back in my chair, sipping my whiskey as Marcus was dragged out of the room. Claire stood frozen, realization dawning in her eyes. For the first time, she looked afraid. And I loved it. Claire stood in the middle of the lavish hotel suite, frozen, gripping the edge of a champagne flute with trembling fingers. The color had drained from her face as the door slammed shut behind the men who had taken Marcus. I watched it all unfold from my laptop screen, my heart thumping steadily. The moment she realized she was alone. The second she understood that her perfect escape had collapsed. She took a shaky breath and reached for her phone. I already knew who she was calling. The device on my desk vibrated. Her name flashed across the screen. Claire. I let it ring twice before answering, keeping my voice calm. Enjoying your trip? There was a sharp intake of breath on the other end. Then, her voice, soft, uncertain, almost fragile. Daniel, I need your help. I smirked. There it is. I leaned back in my chair. Help? From me? I let out a humorless chuckle. That's funny, Claire. I thought you didn't care what I thought. Silence. Then, a trembling whisper, I was wrong. I almost laughed. The arrogance, the cruelty, the smirk she had when she walked out of my house with Marcus, where was all that confidence now? I swirled the whiskey in my glass. What happened? Your perfect man leave you behind? She hesitated, her voice cracking. They took him. I don't know who they are, but they. Oh, I know exactly who they are, I interrupted, my voice turning cold. And trust me, Claire, Marcus isn't coming back. She gasped. Daniel, please. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I clenched my jaw. You didn't mean to steal my money? You didn't mean to sleep with my best friend behind my back for years. My voice hardened. Or maybe you didn't mean to laugh while you betrayed me? Daniel. Save it, I snapped. I gave you everything. My love. My loyalty. My trust. And you spit on it. Tears laced her voice now. I made a mistake. No, Claire, I said coldly. You made a choice. And now you're going to live with it. She sobbed quietly. I let the silence hang between us before delivering the final blow. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip, Claire. You're going to need to find your own way home. Oh, I paused. And when you do, don't bother coming back. You have nothing left here. I ended the call. Exhaling slowly, I turned off the security feed. Claire was done. Marcus was finished. And me? For the first time in years, I was finally free.